Well, hello. I thought that I did my noon nugget just now. And when I went to hit the stop button, it showed that it was recording. I'm a little bit confused right now. So, do you ever have plans and God changes them right at the last minute? Yeah, that keeps happening to me today. So, I am going to take a look. Oh yeah. I'm live right now on Facebook. So that whole 12 minutes I just talked wasn't even recorded. So, wow, we're going to have an adventure today, and I got some good stuff for you. So stick with me. My name's Wendy. I'm with Dream Big Today. This is my noon nugget, and we're looking at October 2nd. And when I first was preparing for this, I have a website, my own little ministry thing that I'm starting for Gems of Knowledge, and I do these daily devotionals. And so when I first read this, I thought about how God said that he sees everything, right? And that his children, his people are doing all of these horrible things right in front of him. And I was like, oh my goodness. They just don't even care. And it reminded me of a word that he had given me a little while back through the Holy Spirit, where he started talking about this very thing, how his people are doing it right in front of him. And the imagery I had in my mind as the Holy Spirit was speaking was a king in his palace on his throne, and his son comes in and just ties him up and basically like gags him and binds him and starts doing all of these horrible things right in front of his face. He brings in his friends and his lovers, and he's partying and he's fornicating, and they're rioting and stealing, and I mean just everything horrible that you could possibly do. His son and his people were doing right in front of his face. And it made me think about, like, what if it was my children doing that to me? And they scoffed and laughed at my tears and my pain and my begging for them to stop. That's what we do right in front of God when we participate in these horrible things. That's what these people were doing when we read today. And it's so sad. We don't, how often do we think about how God feels, how the Lord feels? But as I was in the shower today, he wanted me to talk about grass. And I thought, is that even in our reading today? And I still am not sure if this is even in today's reading about how they will flourish like the grass. Oh, yes, here it is. Okay, thank goodness. So it is in today's reading. He said he wanted me to talk about grass. And right here in October 2nd, Isaiah 66, it looks like verse 14. You will flourish like the grass. When you see these things, your heart will rejoice. You will flourish like the grass. When we are good, when we follow him, when we become his children, we will flourish like the grass. And it reminded me of another word that the Lord had given me about 2 years ago. And this was actually for one of the women's luncheons for Dream Big Today, the community luncheons that we do monthly. And he talked about a single blade of grass. And so the Lord showed me while I was in the shower that he wants me to talk about that. So if you want to learn more about the other, you're welcome to go to my website, gemsofknowledge.com. But right now, we're going to talk about the grass. And it's so cool because when you think of the grand scope of God and all that he is and all that he creates and all that he does, that he's at his very breath, life begins. At his very breath, life ends. At his very breath, the universes come into existence. I mean, he is like a star breather. I heard a pastor call him a star breather. He is beyond what we could ever even imagine. And here we are on this little earth, A single blade of grass. It's pretty easy to feel insignificant as a single blade of grass. But what the Lord shared with me that day is that every single blade of grass He creates with intention and thought and care and love, and that a single blade of grass displays his majesty. It's a masterpiece. That you are a masterpiece. That no two single blades of grass are the same. And that's wild to think about, right? And that as a single blade of grass, He will provide us with dew, the living water, to sustain us, and our roots will grow into Him, into the ground and into Him, and be nourished by Him and sustained and fed by Him. But the cool thing about grass is that there's other blades of grass all around us. And we don't just grow individually. What happens is our roots begin to grow together as one body, one field. And imagine that the field, it doesn't matter how big it is. It could be as big as a continent. And my blade of grass through the root system would be connected to the blade of grass clear on the other side of the continent. Have you ever tried to just pull up grass? You can't do it because all the roots grow together and they are so strong. You have to cut down underneath and get the roots with it, right? If you want to transplant it. And it's so beautiful how He weaves us together as one body. And we have those blades that are close to us, the people that He brings that are close to us, that we grow in unity with and love. And then there's people that are further away and people that are further away and even further away. But we are all still one body in Him. One field for the Master. How cool is that? And that He will sustain us. And the cool thing about grass is, coming from Utah, it's a desert. And to have green grass there is a feat, right? Now, we can be planted somewhere else out in the desert and we could barely be making it. We're making it. But are we thriving? Are we being nourished? Are we flourishing there? No. And it reminded me of Utah. It's really hard in the desert to keep your grass flourishing. It's like a feat. And when I first married my husband and moved to Oklahoma, I said, "Do you have secondary water?" He goes, "What's that?" I said, "Well, it's the water that you get from the city that's like not as clean, and you can use it for water on your lawn and stuff." And he says, "We don't water our lawns here. God does." And that's been proven in the 10 years I've been here. God waters our lawn, right? And when we're in the right field, when we're in God's country, in God's field, that we will flourish and He will water us and nourish us. And that it's not by the striving of man that we would be, okay. And in becoming this flourishing field, at the end of the word that the Lord had given me that day, about 2 years ago, He said that He wants us to become a field where He can bring His sheep to be nourished and sustained. That He puts everything in us to be able to nourish and sustain and feed His sheep. And that the thing with grass is that you can keep cutting it and keep cutting it and keep cutting it. But when it's flourishing, it'll just keep growing and growing and growing. So when God trusts us enough to bring the sheep to feed, that we can give all that we have and just keep giving and giving and giving, because God will keep giving right back. And we will never run dry. We will never die. We will continue to flourish and give and give and give. It's such a beautiful symbolism. So even though we are just one single blade of grass, I want you to know that you matter, that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, that you have everything in you to flourish and give and provide life and nutrients to others, that God put everything in you, the fullness of His creation and life within you. Never doubt if you have meaning or purpose or if you are valuable, because you are. You are valuable. And God has a plan and purpose for you. And if you're not planted in the right field, ask the Lord to transplant you. And He will. He will transplant you in the field that you need to be in. And I feel like He's done that with me here, with this in Oklahoma, and with my family and my community here with you. It's so beautiful and wonderful. So just keep trusting the shepherd, and he will make you flourish. And we will never want. It's a beautiful, glorious promise. We will flourish like the grass. So take that with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you. Thank you for being with me. Have a wonderful day.